more. I'd love to hear because
Yeah, so I can make a prediction for GM and Ford. Probably GM because they have the most debt. Um, 2008, uh, GM was bailed out by the Fed. Um, and if we enter another recession, which I think we're likely to enter a recession soon, I think that most likely GM and probably Ford, especially just because they didn't accept a bailout, and because of that, they're in a worse financial position than GM. Uh, I think most likely they're going to need another bailout, which is going to be a really interesting time. Like, will the taxpayer bail out GM a second time? Because the next recession could come at like a terrible time for them because Tesla's got the Model Y, the Cybertruck, which is coming out in a few months, which I think is going to sell like bonkers. So um, a huge portion of Ford's and GM business is selling F-150s and Silverados. I think it's going to eat a lot of their business, their most profitable business, at a time that the economy is going into and hold it in a recession. So it'll be really interesting. What will happen? They're going to lose profits from them. They're going to have to drop prices to compete with the Cybertruck on their most profitable vehicles at a time the economy is going into recession, at a time when Tesla's still rapidly scaling their production. Um, I don't think the outlook is very good for those companies. They might consolidate their brands and get bought out by or consolidate into like one like company like Ford and GM or something like that. But I don't, I don't think that they have much of a chance of survival. The automobile business is so tough. When times are going good, times are going good. But since they have huge factories, they have huge operating costs to these factories. So they're really sensitive businesses, especially when you add on the debt. They're very sensitive businesses, and I think a small disruption in the economy could be like a death blow for them. So would they get bailed out again? I don't know. And I don't think they have the management to compete with Tesla either way. If they got bailed out, what are they going to do? Because Teslas drive themselves, so they're selling these self-driving robots. Um, they've got millions of these self-driving robots on the road right now, which can be activated once they complete full self-driving. It's like a flip of a switch. All these cars will be able to drive themselves, and and the cost of transportation decreases huge, and people are more likely to take an autonomous Tesla than they are go buy a car. Because what's the point? Why would you even get a driver's license anyway if the cars just drive themselves? And
yeah.
Tesla has monopoly on all these cars, which I think they're going to have a monopoly on self-driving. It looks pretty apparent to me they're going to have a monopoly. They're going to own the market for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Google, Ford, the Cruise unit, they're nowhere close. So, uh, yeah, it's going to be a really interesting time. The only saving grace I could see for them maybe is that they license the full self-driving technology from Tesla, just like they are with the supercharging. Um, but even then, they're just selling less profitable vehicles to compete with Tesla, which they're not going to win on margins because they have to purchase this license from Tesla. So yeah, I would never buy stock in like GM or Ford or something like that. I would probably short them if they didn't pay a dividend. So yeah, that's my prediction. I think that most likely they're not going to make it to the next recession. The business models are just too sensitive, and they'll either consolidate and or get bailed out by the Fed again, and they'll just be like maybe like a small niche companies like like I don't want to compare them like Ferrari, but like a low volume manufacturer of
Yeah.
vehicles. So yeah,
So
it's, it's,
so
it's
so you're not bullish on Ford. Do I hear that right?
no,
Yeah.
no,
Wow.
I am not bullish on
Yeah.
Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I love the
that's
management.
yeah. And I'm going to say Here's the amazing thing. Here's the amazing thing. I'm willing to say you're very biased because you've experienced a 10 to 100x or whatever in Tesla stock. Oh, you own a lot of Tesla stock, whatever. You've had 10 years of information bias, whatever. But even if that's true, you just read these reports from traditional media saying that Tesla's the worst bet and GM and Ford are fine. And it's like, it's just so clearly not. It's like,
Nuts.
sure, you might be
Yeah.
biased, but if they're actually claiming that these companies are on solid ground, why? Oh, well, because most people don't have a desire for electric vehicles and don't use electric vehicles yet. To me, that's such a bogus belief because
Yeah.
it's fundamentally in contradiction. It's fundamentally contradictory with what I was saying earlier, that we have less to come with the future than the past. Oh, we should assume that these companies of the past will never be higher risk than this company in the future because people are still using the technology of the past. Will they ever
Yeah.
upgrade? And to me, that's what I think that Tesla Motors has. I think that is the Achilles heel for these other companies. It's not Elon Musk. It's not the management. It's not the lack of debt. It's not the growing. Blah blah blah. The secret sauce is the technology, and all those other things are aiding of Tesla having the best tech. And to me, from my perspective, that's Tesla's slam dunk. That they have the best tech, and there is no second best. Obviously, I'm crossing my memes here, but to me, that's what it seems. When Ford and GM, when they are getting now into electric vehicles, following Tesla's footsteps, what technology are they using? They're using Tesla's superchargers. They're not using
Mhm.
their own. They are
Yeah.
sending their own money to this competing
Yeah.
company,
Yeah.
and this what they're trying to grow in this market share, and they're actively feeding their competition now.
Yeah.
And even if you're biased, like you're too much of a Tesla bull, it's just so clear that Wall Street is just not paying attention because they're so
Yeah.
focused on the numbers and not the technology and understanding that technology begets monopolies.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, at this point, it's an AI company. It's a software company. People are very confused by that. Um, so like, I don't know if you follow the robots, the robots they're building too.
Oh yeah, which ones? Yeah, the
The
Optimus.
Optimus.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's just, they're just leveraging
Here, let me pull up a visual of that here.
yeah.
Hi there, really quickly, just in case you haven't heard yet, I'm making a movie about Bitcoin, about technology, about energy, where we come from, where we're going. It's a big project. I've been working on it for a very long time now at this point, and I'm in the middle of fundraising it, as well as getting the crew and folks together that are going to make it possible. We're actually already over a third of the way there in fundraising. It means the world to me, not only that we've raised so much money, but also that so many people from all kinds of different backgrounds all over the internet have been willing to help with this project. So if you haven't yet, please consider supporting the project. You can find it both on GoFundMe and Geyser as well, depending on whether you're going to give cash or Bitcoin. And anyone that gives 100,000 Satoshis, otherwise known as $30, will get their name in the credits. That's both as a thank you for helping make it possible, as well as hopefully a way to help other people in your family and your network understand Bitcoin by being able to send to them and say, hey, my name was in the credits. So if you'd like to get your name in the credits of however far this film will go once it's released, and also to help make it possible, it would mean the world to me. We're trying to have every dollar that goes to the cost of this film to orange pill, quote unquote, one person. We're trying to orange pill 20,000 people, roughly $20,000 in cost. So if you donate $30, you're indirectly responsible, hopefully, for orange pilling 30 people, assuming I do my job good enough. So thank you for your time. Let's get back to the show.
Here we have this article calling Tesla's bot an April Fool's joke with their AI day from, let's see, 2021. So only 2 years ago, this thing was considered an April Fool's Day joke. And then this one, it says it makes 0 cents. And there are dozens of articles like this, Reddit forums saying overwhelmed or whatever. And for those that don't know, this is roughly what's changed. So in 2021, over here on the left, we have this concept that Elon Musk and the Tesla team revealed of what they wanted the bot to look like in February 2022. So what, 8 months later, or maybe a little longer, we have this development prototype that they unleashed. Again, very controversial. Tesla
Hello?
fanboys fanboyed, and the media criticized.
Hello?
Oh,